All right, today we're jumping right into a legend that's whispered in the darkest corners of the world. The incredible story of the Blood Brothers. We're talking about a massive tale of greed, power, unbreakable bonds, and a final reckoning that was literally paid for in blood.
And this quote right here, man, it just perfectly captures the heart of the whole story. It's all about a harmony that was completely shattered, a sacred peace that was broken, not by some invading army, but by something much, much quieter, something buried deep in the earth. It's the story of how a world was lost to ambition.
So, how does a peaceful world end up in chains? Well, our first act kicks off with the discovery of diamonds right under a holy temple. You'd think that'd bring wealth, right? Nope. It brought a curse, and it lit the tiny spark of rebellion that was about to set the entire world on fire.
I want you to just try to picture this for a second. A community living in total balance. Their lives were simple, built around their faith, their families. The source material describes these shining temples, kids laughing. A perfect, idyllic scene. This is the world that was about to be destroyed.
And then, just like that, it's all gone, replaced by a living nightmare. The second those diamonds were found, that peace just evaporated. The village became a labor camp overnight. The sound of children laughing was replaced by the crack of whips. An entire community enslaved, forced to tear apart their own sacred land for a king's greed.
But in the middle of all this despair, you get one guy, this one man, Ryuga, who just refuses to break. And his rebellion? It doesn't start with an army. It starts small, with a single act of pure defiance, standing up to a bunch of armed guards to protect a little kid trapped in a cage. I mean, it's a totally hopeless move, but in a world that has no hope, a gesture like that, it's everything.
So, of course, he gets captured. He's beaten, he's about to be executed, and the guard asks him for his last words. And he just flips it, turns the question right back on him. The confidence is just staggering, because he knows something that guard doesn't. He knows help is on the way.
And bam! That help arrives in the form of a flying axe. This is Rayulf, Ryuga's brother. And their whole dynamic, their entire relationship is perfectly laid out right here. You've got Ryuga, the spear, stoic, direct, the immovable object. Then there's Rayulf, the axe, all charisma, totally unpredictable, the unstoppable force. Their first words to each other in the middle of a rescue say it all. They couldn't be more different, and that's exactly what makes them legendary.
Now you might think that little skirmish was the end of the story, but no, that was just the spark. Years go by, the brothers vanish, but their story? Oh, their story doesn't go anywhere. It grows, it morphs into a legend, a secret whispered from slave to slave, becoming this powerful symbol of hope when there was absolutely no reason to have any.
And this timeline, wow, it really shows you how their legend just terrified the people in charge. After just a few years, their story is spreading like wildfire. It gets so bad that the king, in his paranoia, makes it a death sentence to even say their names. His fear tells you everything you need to know about their power. And then, 7 years later, they're back.
So the big question is, where were they all this time? They weren't on vacation, that's for sure. They were out in the wild, being forged in fire. They survived starvation, dehydration, constant warfare. Every single trial just made them sharper, tougher, until two men became a fighting force that could take on an entire army.
When they finally come back, they find things are even worse than when they left. The king's cruelty has only grown. So that pretty much settles it for them. This isn't just about small acts of rebellion anymore. The new mission is to tear the whole corrupt system down from the inside out, and they're starting right at the top, with the palace.
But here's the thing. The king, he hasn't just been sitting around. He's been waiting. He knew, sooner or later, the legends would come back for him, and he has prepared a very special welcome. The stakes are about to get raised to an insane, almost impossible level.
So after they manage to free a group of slaves, they find their path blocked. By what? An army. 10,000 soldiers. Let that sink in for a second. This isn't a fair fight. It's not even a battle. It's a slaughter waiting to happen. And it shows you just how powerful and how terrified the king really is.
And this is where the king gets truly twisted. He makes the cruelest offer imaginable. He doesn't just want to kill the brothers. He wants to crush the idea of rebellion itself. He tells the slaves, "Hand over the two men who just saved you, and I'll let you live for a few more hours."
It's just a diabolical, soul-crushing choice. And the brothers, being who they are, they do it. To stop the bloodshed, they give themselves up. They make the ultimate sacrifice. And the king? Well, he proves just how much of a monster he is. He captures the brothers, and then he orders his army to execute the slaves anyway. Their sacrifice meant nothing. I mean, can you imagine a lower point than this? The brothers are chained in some dark dungeon, completely defeated, believing they failed everyone. Months just crawl by in total darkness. And then, a visitor. A mysterious woman named Melanie shows up. Turns out she was hired by that same little girl from the very beginning, who's now all grown up. And she doesn't bring pity, she brings a key. Hope is not dead yet.
Which brings us to the grand finale, the explosive final act, the escape, the confrontation, the reckoning. This is it. This is the moment the legend of the Blood Brothers gets written in stone for all time.
And the breakout, it's just a masterpiece of synchronized chaos. Ryuga, who's a master fighter, literally holds off guards with his bare hands while Ryulf goes to get their weapons. Once they're armed, they just carve through the army like they're not even there. They move like a single terrifying creature. And when Ryulf takes down a cop general in this shockingly brutal way, you can just feel the army's morale completely shatter.
And this little exchange here is maybe my favorite part of the whole story. In the middle of this absolute bloodbath, surrounded by the king's most elite soldiers, they are so calm, so in sync, that they're just casually planning their next move like it's a practice drill. It just shows you they're not just soldiers, they're something else entirely. But you know what the best part is? The king's end doesn't come from a spear or an axe. In this moment of beautiful, poetic justice, the brothers just leave him. And he gets dragged away by the very slaves he tormented for years, taken back down into the darkness of the mines that he built on their backs.
With the tyrant gone and the people finally free, the brothers don't stick around for a parade. They grab some of the gold and diamonds and they just walk away. They vanish back into the shadows, making sure they remain what they always were, a legend.
But wait, just when you think you can finally breathe and the story is over, the source material hits us with one last, super cryptic scene, a little post-credit teaser that changes absolutely everything.
Ryulf has a vision, or maybe a nightmare. He sees his brother Ryuga lying dead, and standing over him is this new terrifying figure with glowing red eyes, sitting on a throne. And this guy's words are just a chilling promise. No matter how strong you are, no matter how legendary you become, there's always something bigger and badder waiting in the shadows. And that's where we're left, with Ryulf waking up from this nightmare, whispering his brother's name into the darkness. Was it just a dream? Or was it a prophecy? What in the world could possibly be a threat to the two men who became a living legend? The main story might be over, but man, the real questions are just getting started.